Hey everyone, welcome back to Beat of the Soul. I hope you're all well. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. So I was scrolling through Instagram, I think it was one evening, and I saw a post from Legacy where she was talking about the movie she was going to be starring in, and I was just gassed. Like, I love a Christmas movie. You know how in the Woman King video I was saying how I'm trying to tap back into my childhood and start watching shows from my childhood again. And I'm going through this phase where I'm watching TV shows that I watched when I was younger. So I'm starting to watch How to Get Away with Murder again, and I'm absolutely loving it. I feel like when I was younger, I would always, when the Christmas period would come around, I'd be obsessed with just watching so many Christmas movies. It was so much fun. I just love Christmas movies. They're just so pure. I just want to tap back into that and start watching more Christmas movies again, because it just, fills you with so much joy and it's just good vibes. So I was so happy when I saw that Legacy posted that, and I was sharing it on my Instagram stories and tweeting about it as well. R&B singer Lisette is set to travel home to New Orleans for Christmas when a picture of her and her ex-boyfriend is misinterpreted as a surprise engagement. So I had seen the kind of movie promotion picture, so I kind of got an idea of what the film was going to be about. I just assumed, Christmas love story in New Orleans. That's all I kind of knew from what I had seen on socials. I don't think I read the synopsis before I watched it. So when I was watching it and I saw how heavily focused on music it was, it made me so happy, and I was I'm so excited to do a review about this. It just really made my morning when I finally got round to watching it, and I think it's something that I'm gonna want to watch every year now. And it was just so cool to see New Orleans on screen. I'm I've been to this place, or I've been here. It was just so cool to see it on the screen, and now it's making me really want to experience New Orleans during Christmas time. I think that would be so cool to see. And there was a line where one of the characters said, he's you get this glow about you when you talk about New Orleans. And I was you know what, I feel like that's me. I feel like you're talking to me. Every time I talk about that place, it just makes me so happy. I just love it. So the film opens with Legacy's character singing a Christmas song to an audience. So then the audience is kind of shown that, okay, she's a professional singer. There's an audience that loves the way that she's singing. The song that she was singing was very catchy. It wasn't oh my God, this is the best Christmas song that I've ever heard. But it was a catchy Christmas song. I like how the film showcased the business side to the music industry as well. So in the beginning stages, we're shown how the holiday tour projections are off, and that Lisette's album sales aren't very good. It's not all glitz and glamour. There is a business side to the industry, and despite how good of a singer she is, if the album sales aren't doing good and the holiday tour projections are off, then that's going to have serious implications. We're also introduced to a music business journalist, which I thought was a cool character to have in the film as well. Her name is Gia Cole, and she's also from New Orleans as well, like Lisette. So they kind of grew up in the same, similar towns, similar neighborhoods. And we're shown that Gia has a lot of resentment towards Lisette. I'm not going to ruin as to why. You have to watch the film to find out why she has that resentment. But it just got me thinking, you know how sometimes there's just always seems to be negative PR about certain artists or, anyone in the industry, in the entertainment industry. It makes you think, I wonder if any of these music journalists or anyone who's a journalist or works in PR or whatever, if they have resentment towards an artist that's got nothing to do with, their actual music talent or their life. So they just write all these negative stories just because it's their resentment that's acting out through their work. So Liz is signed to a major label, and there's another thing on the label called Ocean, and we're told that she's going to replace Liz for the label's Christmas party. Even though Ocean doesn't have as many album sales as her, the only reason why she's replacing Liz in this Christmas party is because she's dating a big celebrity. And Zach, who's Liz's friend and label rep, says that Ocean is playing the game and that Liz should too. And it just gets you thinking about the music industry and the real world. How it's not just about how good of a singer you are. There is a game to it, and who you're dating, and, certain aspects of your life that have nothing to do with the music can get you certain opportunities in the music business. It's just so crazy. She doesn't have as many album sales as her. She probably, subjectively speaking, is not as good of a singer as her, but because she's dating this big celebrity, she's going to get all the opportunities. And it's just like playing the game. Like, is that something you really want to do? It has its pros and cons, but if you're playing the game, are you truly authentic? Like, is playing the game gonna give you longevity in the industry? So Lisette's album, her first album, was a big success. And then when she signed to this major label, they wanted her to go pop for crossover appeal, and it didn't work. So now Liz is like the one who's paying for it. They're cancelling her tour. They're potentially going to drop her from the label. Like, I felt really bad for her because this type of music, she probably didn't even want to make this type of music. But they think, oh, crossover appeal. You need to go pop. And it's just like, it's not necessarily the right decision to make. Like, if one genre works for you well, isn't it better to just kind of like have that niche and make sure that you excel in that niche instead of being inauthentic and trying to have like a mass market when that's really not your vibe? And again, it just gets you thinking about real life situations when artists, like, they change genres, or you can see how signing to a major label or seeing how certain changes on the business side is impacting their work and their music. And Liz even said, she was like, there's so much more that comes with making music than making the music now more than ever. And I was like, you know what, that's actually facts. Like, making the music is probably the smallest part of being a music artist when you think of everything else. Like, if no one knows who you are, then it's not good on the business side of things. If you can't sell tickets, if no one's like intrigued in your music, if no one's buying it, then it doesn't matter how good you are, the label aren't going to be happy. When we're first introduced to Matthew, who's Liz's ex-boyfriend, and his investor Pete, there's a banger playing. Oh my God, it's so good. I can't sing. And it's like, it's all Christmas with you, it's all Christmas with you. It's so good. It's like a really nice, like, neo soul R&B kind of Christmassy vibe. Like, oh, I wanted to know what song that was so bad. Like, I was having Shazam out, but Shazam couldn't pick it up. It was so annoying. I was like, I need to know what this song is. But one criticism of the movie that I have is like the writing, because I feel like when we were introduced to quite a lot of the characters, it'd be things like, as your friend and label rep, blah, 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 blah. As the music journalist, blah, 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 blah. Pete, who's the primary investor, he was like, as your primary investor, blah, 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 blah. So I feel like it was kind of weak writing in the way that we were shown who these characters are. Like, you don't need to be like, as a music business journalist, blah, blah, blah. I think people, through the actions of what the actor is doing, you can kind of, you can kind of tell what their role is. And Matthew is shown to be this really great producer who really cares about music. So I feel like I really gravitated to him because how he saw music is how I see it. So I really like his character. And Matthew and Pete, like, there was always this kind of like back and forth between them because Matthew is so caring and passionate about the music, whereas Pete, the investor, he's very concerned about the business side, which I understand it is finding that balance. So Matthew was the person who produced Liz's first album, which was a huge success. And it just got me thinking about that whole producer-artist relationship and how when producers and artists get together, like, there's many examples of producers and artists who have ended up being in relationships because, and I understand like how it can happen because you're making great music together. Like, there's probably so much chemistry. You're spending so much time with this person. And especially if you're creating authentic music, like, you're being vulnerable in how you create. You like the way they're producing, they like the way you're singing. It's just constant vibes, like you're vibing off of each other. So I can definitely see how it can happen. And it'll be interesting to see like the types of genres as well, because you know how people talk about like frequencies in music. Like, is there a certain type of music that would almost like make it more likely that you like that a producer and artist relationship would develop? For example, like R&B music, you had like Summer Walker and London on the track, like the type of music they make together, I completely understand how they would like be together. And there was a scene where Matthew was speaking to Liz's dad, and he was saying, I feel like when the artist doesn't have to worry about the business of making music and they can just make the music, they're at their best. And I agree with that so much. Like, it just made me have more empathy for artists that I love, and just artists in general, I guess, because imagine, like, it must be very stressful, especially if you're an independent artist as well. Like, you just want to make music. Music is the thing that you fell in love with. It's what you're passionate about. It's what you want to do for the rest of your life. And now you have to worry about all these other things. Do those other things divert attention from the actual music? Does it affect the quality of your music? Because if you're not spending so much time on creating, you're focusing on the business element, does that make the actual music suffer? Like, it's so sad. Like, you probably can't be working at your best self when you're worrying about all these other things. So I really do feel for them. So as I said in the synopsis, there's a picture of Liz and Matt that is perceived to be an engagement photo or like a proposal. But yeah, you watch the movie to find out like what actually happened and stuff. But because people perceived it to be an engagement, it was crazy to see how that affected Liz's music career. Like her streams and interactions tripled. People were just going crazy about her, and it made her label move different as well. Now they're considering about bringing her back on the tour and stuff like that. It's just funny how the label done switched up. Like, just goes to show how business savvy they are and how much they care about the business. Her talent didn't change between that time. Her talent was still the same, but what changed is how people were interacting with her, and that's what they care about. And yeah, it was just got me thinking about real life as well, when you see like certain people outed together and you think, oh, are they a couple? Are they dating? And you get more intrigued in their lives and who they are, and it can lead people to check out their music, and people are just obsessed with their every move. And then it makes you wonder, like, are people staging these relationships? So they're being like, okay, meet me here, hold my hand like this, so let's do that, so it looks like that, so this can help our streams and blah 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 blah. Or if it is genuine, and how there can be like natural benefits from that. I can understand why people would manufacture stuff, because if you can get results like that, then that can really help your career. But then it goes back to that whole authenticity thing, longevity. Like, if you're going to play the game, you need to deal with the consequences of playing the game. There were some really great songs throughout this film. Like, I'll put the ones on the screen that I was able to Shazam, or that were in the credits, because on the credits there were only like 3 songs listed, and I don't know how movie credits work, but I assume that you have to kind of like, it's like when you're writing an essay, you have to cite all your sources that you use. So I assume that would be the case for movies. So when I only saw like 3 songs in the credits, I'm like, like, why is this? So I don't know why that was. And I saw the music supervisor and composer's name, which is Kent Rock. So shout out to Kent Rock, because I absolutely loved the music in this film. So I tried to like DM the director, and I tried to connect with Ken on LinkedIn to see if they knew, like, if there was like a whole official soundtrack for this movie, or if they could tell me the songs that were used in the movie. But I didn't get a response, but it was worth a try. But if anyone knows the answers to these questions, like if you know the entire score and like soundtrack for the movie, please let me know, because there are really some bangers. So yeah, final thoughts. I absolutely loved the movie. Like, I just love how centered it was around family and the traditions that the Toussaints had, the music, New Orleans, and how that has shaped all of the family, and Lisette and her music career, Matthew and how much of a music lover he is, and how caring he is, and how he hasn't allowed the industry to change him and become focused on the business side of it. Like, he still is very much for the artist and for the music. So I love that about him. And yeah, I just thought it was a very lovely story, and it's great to see like a black movie on Hallmark, because when I think of Hallmark, I just think of white people. So it's good that they're having more movies like this, and I hope that they do more movies like this. If you have watched All Saints Christmas, let me know what you thought about the movie. And if you haven't, make sure you do. And then if you do watch it after listening to this review, let me know what you think. I'll also like link the relevant information in the description box as well. So I hope you enjoyed my commentary. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.